So let me get this straight. David Zaslav, the man who merged Warner Brothers with Discovery, lit the animation department on fire, deleted movies for tax credits, and somehow made DC less coherent than when the Snyder Cut was being passed around like contraband, wants $30 a share for this thing. And what did the first serious bid come in at? $23.50 a share. That's not a negotiation strategy, folks. That's the stock market leaving a "we tried" fruit basket on your doorstep. Now we've got Paramount, Comcast, and Netflix all circling like vultures at a yard sale. And the weirdest part of this, the asset everyone's talking about isn't DC or Harry Potter or HBO. It's CNN. And somewhere in the background, the president is apparently asking, yeah, do whatever with CNN. But can we get Rush Hour 4 while you're at it? Welcome to Hollywood in 2025. Let's roll the intro. What's up, all you critical nerds out there? Welcome back to the channel. If you're returning, you already know the drill. Grab your popcorn, your spreadsheets, and your emotional support Batman. If you're new here, welcome in. This is the Critical Nerd, where we talk Hollywood box office and media clown shows without the studio-approved PR filter. Before we dive into Warner Brothers selling itself off like a used DVD bundle on Craigslist, do me a little favor. Smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss it when this whole deal collapses and they try to sell DC on Facebook Marketplace. Today, we're breaking down who's actually bidding on Warner Brothers Discovery, why the offers are way below what David Zaslav wanted, how CNN, yes, the airport channel, became the surprise prize in all of this, and why the president is apparently using a multi-billion-dollar merger to negotiate buddy cop sequels. Let's dive in. So, here we are. Warner Brothers Discovery officially opened the doors and said, "Everything must go, no reasonable offer refused." And as of late November, the first round of bids has landed. The number of real bidders? Not 10, not 6, just 3. We have Paramount Skydance, Comcast, and Netflix. Everyone else, including all those Saudi rumors you heard about, completely vanished once the grown-up paperwork showed up. Not mentioned by analysts, not in the regulatory chatter, nowhere. That Saudi PIF is a signature away from buying Warner Brothers crowd? Yeah, about that. Now, Paramount Skydance, run by David Ellison, backed by his dad Larry, I swim in Oracle money, Ellison, is the only one bidding for the whole company. Their first serious offer? An all-stock bid at $23.50 a share, with the expectation they could nudge it to around $25 in later rounds. But with strict instructions from their advisors, do not go past the upper 20s. In other words, $27 is the ceiling. Meanwhile, Zaslav has been walking around telling anyone who will listen he wants a number that starts with a 3, $30 a share, valuing WBD at around $70 billion. So, Zaslav's dream is $30 plus a share. The reality, somewhere between $23.50 and $27 a share. That's not a bidding war, folks. That's a clearance rack. And remember, this is a company already groaning under merger debt, with shrinking traditional TV revenue and a streaming service that keeps renaming itself like it's on the run from creditors. If nobody comes up to Zaslav's magic number, the board's fallback plan is reportedly to split WBD into separate pieces. Where have I heard that before? Studio streaming in one company, cable networks in another. And try again later like a rich guy rebooting his own divorce. So, let's talk about the 3 people fighting over the last slice of the Hollywood pizza. We got Netflix. Netflix showed up to the party like, nice studio you've got there. But it would be a shame if someone digitized it. They're not They're not interested in the cable zombies. No, they don't want the cable networks. What they want is the Warner Brothers lot, the 100-year-old library of classic films, Friends, ER, The West Wing, Gilmore Girls, all the comfort food people bring or people binge instead of new stuff. HBO's entire catalog. You got Sopranos, Sex and the City, Game of Thrones, and of course, IP like Harry Potter, DC, and Lord of the Rings. Basically, Netflix looked at their own originals, Stranger Things, Squid Game, Bridgerton, and went, we actually don't have that many long-term franchises, do we? Now, Netflix has historically treated movie theaters like a weird museum you visit once a year, but reports say they're already promising to keep Warner's films in cinemas if they win, just so they don't get instantly tarred and feathered by exhibitors. Which, if you think about it, is hilarious. Please don't hate us. We swear we like movie theaters this month. Yeah. Next up, we have Comcast, owner of NBC, Universal Pictures, and some of the most soulless cable bundles known to man. Comcast's interest is more surgical. They're reportedly more into Warner Brothers Studios, HBO, and whatever they can glue onto Universal and their theme parks to justify new Harry Potter lands every 3 years. If Comcast wins, their combined theatrical share could jump north of 40% of the domestic box office. That starts to look less like competition and more like, so which half of your movie-going year do we want to own? Also, Comcast has its own debt questions and the small issue of the president reportedly not being a big fan of Brian Roberts, CEO, which we'll get back to in a second. Finally, we've got Paramount Skydance, the current frontrunner. They already bought Paramount earlier this year and now apparently looked around, saw one of the last century-old studios still standing and said, yeah, we'll take that one too. Unlike Netflix and Comcast, Paramount isn't trying to cherry-pick pieces. Their bid is for the entire company. Studio, streaming, cable networks, the whole lot. And here's the twist. The thing giving them a huge edge? CNN. More on that cursed Infinity Stone in a second. I have a question for you guys. If you had to pick one overlord, Netflix, Comcast, or Paramount, who do you begrudgingly choose and why? Drop in the comments so we can all compare who picked the least cursed timeline. Now, back to that CNN thing. This is the part of the story where the story goes from corporate merger to Hollywood fever dream. You'd think the crown jewel of Warner Brothers Discovery would be HBO, prestige TV factory. Warner Brothers Studio, 100 years of movies. DC, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Looney Tunes, the entire IP vault. But according to multiple reports summarized by that Park Place and others, the asset that's suddenly driving the deal? Yeah, it's CNN. Who would have thought? CNN. Yeah. The airport channel, the thing you only watch when your flight is delayed or you lost the remote at your parents' house. Now, here's the logic in it. CNN still reportedly throws off around $500 million a year in profit, despite ratings that are somewhere between golf and C-SPAN after midnight. It has a global footprint. Bureaus everywhere, brand recognition, screens in airports and hotels worldwide. And currently, Paramount Skydance is the only bidder that actually wants it. Netflix doesn't want CNN. Comcast already has MSNBC or whatever it's called now and doesn't exactly need a second headache. But the Ellisons? They look at CNN and go, profitable news brand, discounted because everyone hates it. Yes, please. The plan, according to reporting, folds CNN into a broader news empire alongside CBS News. Keep squeezing out the overt ideological slant the way they're doing at CBS, where Barry Weiss was brought in explicitly to squeeze left-leaning bias out of its news programming. Use CNN's global reach plus CBS infrastructure to cut costs and boost profits. So CNN, a network people meme on for being background noise, is now the key that gives Paramount a financially attractive asset, and a political advantage. Because that brings us to politics, DLC, Trump, CNN, and Rush Hour 4. Yeah, you heard me. This is where the story stops being media business and becomes fan fiction written by a bored political science major. According to multiple outlets summarized by Reuters, That Park Place, and others, the Trump administration is paying very close attention to this sale. And let's just say they're not excited about making Netflix or Comcast any more powerful than they already are. One telecom lawyer put it this way: the Ellisons, Paramount Skydance, would get white glove treatment and likely approval in about 6 months. Brian Roberts at Comcast? A proctology exam that could last 2 years. Netflix? Well, the same deal. Years of antitrust and political headaches, especially as the number one streamer already under scrutiny. So if you're the WBD board trying to sell a $70 billion company before the ice beneath your feet melts, you're looking at Paramount, slightly lower price, fast approval, Comcast Netflix, maybe more money, but 2+ years of regulatory hell with no guarantee you even get to the finish line. And that's before we get to the wildest subplot of all this. The president is reportedly personally nudging Larry Ellison to revive his favorite 90s buddy cop franchise, Rush Hour. And while he's at it, maybe bring back Bloodsport and other 80s and 90s action comedies. Hey, I want you guys to imagine this White House conversation. Mr. President, we're reviewing a multi-billion-dollar consolidation that could reshape Hollywood. Yeah, that's great. But is Jackie Chan free? How's Chris Tucker's schedule? And can we get more roundhouse kicks in slow motion? It also doesn't hurt that neither Jackie Chan nor Chris Tucker has gone on an anti-Trump PR tour, which reportedly makes this Rush Hour reboot idea even more appealing. So now we live in a world where CNN is a political chess piece, regulatory timelines are weaponized, and a possible Rush Hour 4 is part of the vibe check around a $70 billion merger. Honestly, that there might be the most relatable part of this entire saga. Now, would you actually watch Rush Hour 4 or a new Bloodsport style throwback if this deal goes through? Or are you done feeding the studio machine entirely? Sound off in the comments below. So where does all of this leave Warner Brothers Discovery and you, the fan? Well, here's the scoreboard as of right now. Zaslav wants $30 plus a share. Realistic bids are in the mid-20s, maybe touching 27 if the Ellisons stretch. Paramount Skydance is the front runner because they, A, bid for the whole company, B, actually want CNN, and C, have the political wind at their backs for fast approval. If Comcast wins, you get a mega studio controlling over 40% of the box office. Universal plus Warner, plus overlapping cable and news assets, that's antitrust rocket fuel. If Netflix somehow pulls it off, you get the world's dominant streamer now owning one of the last great IP libraries in HBO, with regulators staring at the combined subscriber base like, yeah, that's a problem. Now, if Paramount Skydance wins, you get 2 legacy studios under one roof, CNN potentially reshaped under the same people reshaping CBS, a combined theatrical market share big enough to scare anyone still trying to make mid-budget movies. And if nobody hits Zaslav's number, well, they may just split the company into 2, one stock for movies and streaming, one for cable and news, and try again next year like a franchise reboot with a new director and the same script. Now, for audiences, no matter who wins, this is the pattern. More consolidation, fewer big players, more pressure to chase only safe mega IP, and almost certainly higher prices, more subscriptions, and more overlapping content libraries pretending to be exclusive. While basically watching Hollywood cannibalize itself in real time, and the people holding the fork are tech billionaires, cable giants, and a president who just wants Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker yelling at each other in a car again. Hey, honestly, same. All right, folks, that's where the Warner Brothers bidding circus stands for now. 3 bidders, lowball offers, CNN somehow becoming the infinity stone of corporate media, and a president trying to unlock Rush Hour 4 as a side quest. Let me know in the comments. Who do you want to win this thing? Paramount, Comcast, Netflix, or none of the above? Let it all burn. And if you think Zaslav will cave on the price or hold out and blow up the deal. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. And ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode in Warner Brothers Corporate Multiverse of Madness. Share this video with a friend who still thinks Hollywood is run by creatives and not by spreadsheets and campaign donors. I'm the Critical Nerd, and I'll see you in the next one.